I didn't start this video my traditional way on the floor. Won't be me. But so, alright guys, so this is my 2013 Lexus GS350, right? So I think I made a 1-year review. So at this point, I'm about 3 months away from owning this car for 5 years. So I'm gonna give you the real ownership for 5 years owning this car. So what did I do to it from the last video? So let's see, when I bought it in April 2019, right? Maybe about 3 months later, I lowered it on BC coilovers. I used to ride a lot lower than this, right? Today is December 16th, and I actually raised the car today, right? Prior to that, you know, this is a 2-finger gap. Before, I couldn't even get 1 finger in there. But living here in Pennsylvania, these shops don't know what the hell they're doing. From the time I went to every chain shop, and they're like, no, the car's too low, you have to raise the car, blah blah blah. So, and then the shops that actually can align a lower car, I get charged double the price, you know, because it's lowered. So I'm like, whatever. So today I raised it up a little bit, well, about 2 inches, which was, I feel like I'm riding in a spaceship now. But let's get to the real review. So about 3 months in after owning the car, I've lowered it. So it's pretty much been lowered almost 5 years now, which will eventually cause suspension parts to go, and I'll tell you what that is. But just a visual walk around, 5% tints. You know, I like to see you, but I don't want you to see me. Yeah, dark tints, right? Carbon fiber door handles. So these rims is Advent grade, at least that's how I say it, or AG. All right, AG. And they're 19 by 9.5 in the back with a 15 millimeter offset, and in the front they're 19 by 8.5 with also a plus 15 millimeter offset. If you don't know what the offset means, right, if you look at this wheels, you see how right there it concaves and go in. That's what the 15 millimeter means. It concaves and it goes in towards the center. Now when we go towards the front, you see it doesn't go in as much. So that's what the plus 15 millimeter I can't talk today. That's what the plus 15 millimeter offset means. Okay, 245/40 tires all around. It is all-wheel drive, so I wanted to keep the tires consistent. Prior I was running 245/40 and 275/35, but I changed it. This is just some eBay splitter. It's in a matte black color. Carbon fiber mirror caps with sequential indicators. Oh, my calipers. This is painted. There's a green, I believe it's called G2 caliper paint. It's on Amazon, and it comes with a little brush, and you pretty much just sand it down and you just brush it right on there. So that's what that is. I got slotted power stop rotors all around. Coming to the front, I took out the fog lights housing, sprayed it black, and then put it back in. I got an eBay lip. Now this centerpiece, I did spray it black also. This is probably almost 1.5 years now. This part is a wrap black. That's been wrapped almost 5 years. And this black trim right here, I sprayed that black maybe 1.5 years, but it started peeling now, so I have to spray it over again. But not bad for I got it from AutoZone. I think it's called trim paint or something like that, but you spray it on, it stays on pretty well. Let's see, and that's pretty, oh yeah, well, my roof is also black, as you see, and I believe that's it for the exterior, right? And carbon fiber spoiler. Debadged it because it looks a lot better, cleaner. And you probably can't, well, it's in my last video, but I do have the Borla Type S axle back exhaust. Shout out to Reams Footwear. That's the sponsor. Rep them on the car. I'll put a link in the description. Get your sneakers from them also. They started last year. Shout out to them. So now you want to know how reliable this car has been, right? Okay, so 5 years in, let's see. I'm going to start from back here. Did anything go wrong in the back of the car suspension wise? No, everything's been fine, even though it's been lowered. You know, when I bought this car, it had 44,000 miles on it. Now I'm up to 85,000 miles, so that's 40,000 miles later. You know what I mean? Nothing went wrong in the back. I changed the brakes, obviously. Changed the brakes, changed the rotors, but that's a preference thing. I didn't have to. Okay, so nothing went wrong there. Let's pop the engine real quick. Pop the engine. Boy, I'm like an amateur today. Let's open the hood. Pop the hood, not pop the engine. I can't talk today, maybe because I'm cold. Okay, so all the things that went wrong. Battery eventually died, but that's, you know, that's not the car fault. So I got a red top in there. I got a Megan strut bar. This right here is actually an eBay intake that was for the GS350, but it fits the GS as you see. You know, I ran it right there, took out the factory airbox and just sat it right there. Now what the things that went wrong under here, since I've gotten the car, I've changed the belt one time. Okay, I've changed the crank pulley right there, and what other pulley was it? It was one other pulley I changed at the same time. I don't remember, maybe it was a tension, I don't remember, because this was probably like 2 years ago. But I know I changed that crank pulley, that the main one is the biggest one you'll see actually right there. I changed that. So and that's the reason I changed it. I was getting a little bit of a vibration, and I'm like, what could that be? And then when I opened the hood, you could kind of see, like, you know, when your tensioners, make sure it's clear, when a tensioner or a pulley is bad, it kind of like, when it spins, it's kind of like wobbling a little bit. So that's how I knew I needed to change that. Besides that, nothing else went wrong under this in the engine department. I also changed my spark plugs around 80,000 miles. I changed the spark plugs, and again, that was easy to do. Okay, so suspension wise, okay, I'm gonna tell you all the things I've changed. Outer tie rod, both sides. Lower control arms, ball joints, both sides. What else? What else? There's another camber arm. Well, that's actually not even a camber arm. It's called a caster arm. What is behind the rotor? Change that, both sides. Right. In the back, the only thing I changed back here was I want to say my sway bar end links. I really don't remember. It's been a while. Okay. Now, also, I'll change both axles, driver side and passenger side. Passenger side, it is hard to change, but I did it. And driver side. Now, all those front suspension parts I just told you guys about, I changed them because I caused those to fail. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, honestly, the only thing that actually failed was the lower control arm ball joints and the two front axles. Everything else, they was cheap to replace. So I was going to get an alignment done, and I said, you know what? You know, I'm a baller, right? I drive a Lexus. Let me spend this. You know, I think the arms, the outer tie rods, they wasn't that expensive. At least to me, they wasn't. So I just put all new ones in there. But the only thing failed was, like I said, the two axles and the lower control arm ball joints. And this is from the car being low. Obviously, an axle, once it comes out of the transfer case or transmission, it goes straight like this, right? And when you lower the car, if my wrist is the axle coming through the wheel there, when you lower the car, if you don't know, now it sits like this, and it causes, you know, when you drive, you know, you're putting all the strain in the axle, and the boot is being forced to spin like this instead of being straight like this and spinning this way. I hope you understand that comparison. But yeah, so besides that, you know, that's what I changed for my suspension. Now today, December 12th, so for the last 2 months, okay, I've been getting a vibration. I say maybe the last month I've been getting a vibration, and I said, what could this vibration be? And it, you know, the doors would start rattling at a certain speed, the dash rattle a little bit. So I'm like, I jumped in the forum, and there's a lot of stuff for the rear wheel drives, but nothing for the all-wheel drive regarding this problem, pertaining to this problem. So after doing some research in the forum, which wasn't much, I knew I changed all front suspension parts related to when you start driving and getting a vibration. I've changed all those parts, so I knew it wasn't anything in the front, right? So after going in the forum, they said, hey, it's possible it could be your mounts for the transmission or the engine mount, or maybe your drive shafts. There's two. There's like one right here on directly under the car, and then there's another one like right here. So I said, okay, maybe it's the drive shafts. So the cheapest out of all of that was the transmission mount. Put a new transmission mount in. That was probably like $100. Pretty simple to do, right? Well, for me at least. Change that. Vibration is still there when I'm driving. I'll say between 30 and about 70. Strong vibration, okay? Again, we know it's nothing up front regarding the suspension, because those are all new. I know I changed them. So I changed the transmission mount, and I still had this problem. So I said, okay, I do not want to start guessing, you know, because on a Lexus, guessing is going to add up pretty quick because the parts is expensive. Well, matter of fact, now that I say that, the front axles, they're aftermarket, you know, because OEM axles for this all-wheel drive is like $1,000. So that's $2,000 alone if I was to buy, you know, new axles, whether the car's lower or not. If your axles go, it's like 9 and change. So I said, yeah, screw that. I know I'm lowered. I'm probably going to go through another one at some point. Let's go after market, right? So that's what we did. Well, that's what I did. So, okay, cool. Back to that vibration. So I said, you know what? Guessing on this car is going to add up pretty quick. So instead of me guessing, I did the ultimate sin. What did I do? Went to the dealership, which was like the first time ever in almost 5 years owning this car. I could not figure out why am I getting this vibration. So I went to the dealership, and they had the car for about 2 hours. Guy came back and told me, typical dealership, anyone that knows cars, you didn't even have to know cars. Anyone that, you know, I think is known universally, do not go to the dealership unless you want to get ripped off. So the guy came back and told me, hey, so I think I figure out where your vibration is coming from. It looks like your car is lowered, you know, look like some kind of aftermarket shocks in there. You know, you got a aftermarket exhaust, you know, and you also need to change your engine mounts and your transmission mounts. And he proceeded to explain to me the thing I just showed you with the axle, how it sits, and when you lower the car, blah, blah, blah. Things I already know, right? So I said, okay, so let me get this straight. So you're telling me the vibration that I'm getting is because my car is lowered? He's like, yes. Remind you, my car rides smooth as ever. I had it 5 years. This vibration just started a month ago. Okay? Yeah, it's because the axles are sitting this way, and you know the aftermarket exhaust, and when the car is driving, the exhaust is vibrating, and that vibration is coming back into the body. Needless to say, guess how much the dealer said to replace? As in, put back on the factory struts, put back on the factory mufflers, right? And change the 2 engine mounts and the one transmission mount. It was almost $10,000. $10,000. I said, thank you very much, sir. Wasted $100, right? Because you know you have to pay the dealer. So for all of that, I could have just went with what I was feeling and not go to the dealer. But I said, hey, let's get a professional opinion at the dealership. And as usual, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. When you go to the dealer, they just see a car that's not stock, and automatically everything that's not stock is your problem. You know, I went to school for automotive. I'm no technician, but I know a lot. And I knew what he's saying wasn't true. The closest thing I would give him could have been the engine mounts, right? Not everything else, because this problem just started. But check it out. So when he said, well, you're going to have to change the engine mounts and the transmission mount, I said the transmission mount. Remind you guys, I changed that transmission mount 1 week ago prior to going to the dealership. I said the transmission mount. He said yes. I said, how is that possible when I just changed it 1 week ago? He said, okay, I didn't realize you changed the transmission mount, but I would change the engine mounts. So why the hell did you just tell me I needed to change my transmission mount? You understand? On a Lexus, when you see the mounts, when I go home, I'll record a clip of it. So this is the engine mount. See what I'm saying? There's no way you can look at this and say it's bad. The whole thing is metal, right? If anything, once you remove it off of the car, right, and you look in here, then you could say, well, you know, even though visually looking at it, you know, it seems okay to me, but clearly it wasn't. But to look at this whole metal thing, you know, install in the car and say it's bad, you know, yeah, that's completely guessing. Anyway, but yeah, this is the engine mount. They're exactly the same on both sides. So when you buy it, it's the same part. You just buy the same part twice. Don't buy there's another one that looks similar. Matter of fact, let me show you guys the transmission one. So this right here, this one is the transmission mount. Right, so when it's on the car, it looks like this. Right, so this is the top, obviously. But once it's installed in the car, you know, it looks like this, okay? Now, you can see even though this is a little bit rusted, it wasn't bad, you know, because like I said, I changed it and I still had the same problems, the vibration. But now imagine this, brand new, no rust, anything like that. He looked at it, the new one, and said, yeah, the transmission mount needs to be changed also. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say there. Impossible to look at an all metal thing and just say it needs to be changed without actually removing it. And even when you remove it, you know, you can't, there's no play in this. It's physically, you know, it's impossible. It's like a solid thing, you know. Now, like I said, if it was like really gone, like this is rubber on the inside there, I could feel it. Maybe you could wiggle it and say, well, it's, you know, but still you have to take it off of the car. But this is the transmission mount, and then you got the two engine mount. All right. You cannot visually look at an engine mount on a Lexus, at least the GS350. You cannot visually look at it or the transmission mount and say it's bad. It's enclosed in a metal housing, and you cannot get any play in it because the weight of the car sits on it. You see what I'm saying? So there, he's just guessing, throwing parts at me. And for the guy or girl who don't know, who have the money but don't have it, you know, they're gonna go pay it. So I caught him right there. So either way, I end up buying the OEM engine mounts. They're about $300, about $152 each. Okay, bought the engine mounts about a week ago, and today I installed them. Went to my friend's house, we did it. He have a lift, thank God for him, at his own garage, right at his house. So, you know, we got it up on the lift. Matter of fact, I'll just show you guys. Well, let me open my hood again, but let's open the hood. You might not be able to see it properly. I don't even know if you can see it at all, but I'll give it a shot. But let's see. Can you see? Yeah, no, you can't really see it, but I'll probably put that video on my channel. But it pretty much sits exactly right here where my finger is, straight down, and the other one is like straight down here also. But yeah, you know, so I changed it today, and guess what? All of those vibrations, what I'm telling you guys I had from about 30 to 70 miles an hour, gone. So it turned out the engine mount was bad. Nothing else that he said was wrong, just the engine mount. Now, you know, I've been messing with cars like the last 15 years or so, right? So normally on the older style cars, you could look at the engine mount and, you know, you could see like the big clamp and the rubber is there, and you could kind of look at it and say, yeah, this thing looks bad. Or if you have it, you know, if the car's not moving, put it in drive or reverse, and you know, when you're looking at the engine, it would kind of shake like this or backward or forward, depending how your engine sits. You could see it if you guys look it up. That's how I knew to tell an engine mount was bad, right? But on the Lexus, I'm gonna show you guys this mount. This thing is big, but again, visually looking at it, there's no way you could have told. There's no way I would have known that it was bad, right? So that's why I went to the dealer. But that was going to be the next thing I was going to change, was the engine mount. And after I changed the engine mounts, if that wasn't it, then I was going to tackle the drive shaft one at a time, one at one, and see what my problem is. So all in all, to not make this video too long, the car's been pretty reliable, you know. So in almost 5 years, the first major thing that these dogs, I heard some dogs barking, so I had to look, you know, I don't mess around with dogs. But yeah, so in 5 years, I had two real major three, and I made that in my first review. The transfer, it was either the transfer, yes, the transfer case, the transfer case seal was leaking. I think I did put that in my first review, and that was like $4,000, but it's certified pre-owned, so that was covered by the dealer. Even if it wasn't, the part alone, the seal alone was like maybe $30. I could have done that myself, but I didn't, because I know it would have took some time, and still, why am I going to fix something when I have it certified pre-owned? Let the dealer fix it. Second biggest issue I've gotten was when I had to change the crank pulley and one of the tensioners right next to it. That's the second biggest issue. That probably was about $400 for the parts. And the third issue would have been the engine mounts that I just changed. That was about $300. Okay, so all in all, would I do it again? Yes, the car is very reliable, you know. Bought it almost 5 years in a few months, and no issues at all. Well, we're not gonna say no issues, but it's been very reliable. That's you know, I cannot complain. A lot of room inside. What we got back here? I didn't really do anything on the interior. Still all the same as usual. I keep it clean. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here. You know, Lexus GS350. I'm gonna keep flexing on them, or keep Lexing on them. You know. Oh, matter of fact, let me show you guys one more thing before I end this video. So in here now, just in case you didn't watch my other videos, this right here is a phone mount. I put the magnet in the back of my phone, and I just stick my phone here when I'm driving. That was probably about $20 to buy. Got some blue paddle shifters, F Sport shift knob, and yeah, I want to say that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. This will probably be the last review, but you know, this is the longest I've had any car. My average is about 3 years. It's almost 5 years I've had this car, which is crazy. But I doubt there would be a year 7 and 8 review of this car. By then I'm gonna get rid of it. But you guys check out Reams Footwear, right? New company, started in Pittsburgh, January of 2022. ReamsFootwear.com. They have unisex sneakers. Check them out. I'll put a link in the description. Follow them on Instagram and on YouTube if you haven't, but it's the same everywhere. reamsfootwear.com. Shout out to them. Thank you guys for watching my review. And if there's anything you guys want to see, just put it in the comments. That I probably did it already and it was too small to record, but any questions, anything, leave it in the comments. And you can find me also on Instagram. A lot easier. If you have a question, send me a message there. It's 6MT, well, like my YouTube channel, 6MT_life. You'll see me. Until then, keep Lexing on them. Peace.